Let's get this party started in here. Let's get this party started in here. So, welcome to Fanfiction, Contempt Theater 9006, episode 4. I've already cracked open a cold one. Let's go. What do we do today, gentlemen? What do we do today?
Suffer. We suffer.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you know, like, what have we not read recently? Ruby?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think we've done that recently, but it gets kind of stale.
It does get stale. I mean, that's just Ruby in general, though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want from me. It's like if we go, like, let's say we go to the Attack on Titan section, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, no.
Instant fucking regret.
Don't even try.
Your wall and mine. Marco Bod had become a soldier to show his hero's sacrifice wasn't for nothing, even if the only person he can prove himself detests him from the bottom of their heart. This unexpected link between soldier graduating from the top of their class and another from the bottom of the class causes a shift in fate. Will it be enough to allow Marco to fulfill a dying wish? Gay sex, and female OC times Levy. I wonder what the gender of the author is.
It's a mystery.
We'll never find out. You can also find me on AO3. Wow, couldn't have guessed that one. Oh, God.
What a surprise.
Save me from demons! Kara was saved from her abusive father after the death of her mother by Levy and Irwin. She wounds? Okay. She wounds her way into Captain's heart as a daughter, and he raises her.
What?
And then romance.
Kara joins the cadet corps and soon is top of the class. Of course she is. And then she gets close with a certain horse face. Gene times author self-insert.
I wonder what the author is.
Yeah. Female, gay sex, female, maybe? Oh no, it's just a modern AU. Because that's what you go to Attack on Titan for, right guys? You want to read a modern AU where they live in New York City?
Of course.
My question is, why are gay authors less gay than female authors on fanfiction?
Probably because gay authors actually view their romance as a relationship, and female authors view men having gay relationships as a fetish for them to masturbate to.
So they're just seeing it as a sex object.
Yes.
Is what you're telling me.
Yes. Yes, we're just going we're just going to ignore the blatant hypocrisy there, and just keep going. Yeah. This one's probably also by a woman. How do I know it's also by a woman? Because it's a modern AU taking place in college with romance, drama, and adventure.
Who the fuck would want to write college?
I don't know.
This person.
A woman?
I'm gonna be real. I don't know why people write high school AUs. I don't know why people write college AUs. I can sort of get the coffee shop AU because the author probably works at a coffee shop and they just fantasize about their job being even a infinitesimally inch more interesting than the boring shit they have to put up with day in and day out. So they just fantasize about what if their favorite characters walked into their coffee shop. I get that. Okay, I understand. But I don't know why you would ever want to write a high school or college AU. I'm sorry, but it's not interesting. High school was not interesting. It wasn't.
That depends on the person, Sneaky.
Would you want to relive your high school years, Max?
Considering my high school years were probably better than the average person's, I'd be fine with it.
All right, fair enough.
I don't have a desire for it, but I would not be upset.
Like, don't get me
and
wrong.
besides, you answered your question with the coffee shop thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's probably wish fulfillment. Like,
I mean,
wish my high
it's
school life had
always
been
wish
like
fulfillment.
this.
But like, I just don't see how someone who is just dying of boredom in high school or is looking back on their high school years like, man, yeah, high school was so great. I wonder if all the characters I like went to high school too. So it's extremely rose-tinted goggles or just desperate wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Because, like, look, my high school years were pretty good. I don't want to go back to them.
I mean, for New Jersey, from the stories you told me, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, like,
The area you lived in.
yeah, but I don't want to go back to them. Like, knowing what I know now, doing what I do now, it's like, though my high school years were not that good in full image, full retrospect. They were good for the time, but they were so fucking boring. I filled my days with anime and manga because of how boring school was. How much I hated being around everyone in my grade. I can't imagine wanting to write it. Like, even if you're dreaming about the halcyon days, I can't imagine you being like, oh yeah, you know what I'm gonna spend time writing? A 200-word high school fic.
If I'm gonna spend my time writing a high school setting, it's probably gonna be for an original fiction, in all honesty.
Yeah. Dangerous territory. What if, oh my fucking god, what if Attack on Titan, but actually it was taking place during World War II, and the Titans aren't real, and everyone's on the Allies?
Oh, you're killing me.
Like, what? We just got done talking about the high school AUs and why they might do them, and we got talking about the fucking coffee shop AUs and why they might do them, and now here's this motherfucker sitting here and be like, yo, what if it was a World War II AU? It's like, why would you write that?
You know, this was that Mr. Krabs meme where he's about to just belly flop the table.
Oh,
That's
where
what
it
Mr.
starts,
Krabs
like,
was with this.
it starts having a seizure?
No, the normal conversation happens, and then Mr. Krabs has a quote of some random shower thought that would horrify the average person not on the internet. I'm surprised you haven't seen that meme. Seems right up your alley.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I'll track it down and eventually.
What the fuck is this? No pickles. Farmer Coon asked for no pickles.
What did I just walk into?
What?
Is pickles a euphemism?
Wait,
We don't know,
What?
actually.
yo, has someone decided to make a Karen AU for this?
I guess.
Why?
The hell?
Let's see. Female wish fulfillment fantasy. Time travel. Gay sex. Female wish fulfillment fantasy. The spinal split. Ooh. Grisha
That's-
Jaeger
Oh,
transfers only the attack titan to Eren, and father and son team up with Survey Corps to protect people of walls from unknown warrior of Marley that seek their titan and their lives. Okay, so it's like an actual AU. So this is like the first actual fanfic we've seen so far.
alright. It's a start.
Another actual fanfic where Mikasa actually goes for the dick.
I see.
Hey, Hurricane Sandy, can you stop inhaling the mic? Cool.
There seems to be.
Okay, is my audio working again? Great, fantastic.
What happened?
I don't know, Discord's audio crashed.
Oh. Oh, is that all?
I see.
Let's see what else we got here. The caretaker. The karma caught her lips. Levy times OC. Female wish fulfillment. 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 That's the entire first page is just female wish fulfillment.
The fandom's basically dead. There's not really much you can do.
There's just fangirls left. Oh, so yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Attack on Titan is honestly one of those series where it's like, if these events don't go exactly as they go, then shit just goes wrong and everyone dies.
Oh, shit goes just
Yeah.
It
wildly
also
off
doesn't
plan.
help that, like, as the series went, they kind of just went full idiot, I want to say.
A little bit.
It's like, this is where I feel like it kind of, Attack on Titan and RWBY had similarities in that early start, it had fair open world to work with, but as the series kind of went, it basically kind of narrowed itself down.
Yeah.
I mean, props to the dude for being like, I know exactly how I'm gonna end it, and actually showing a couple panels from the final chapter. But boy, that ending was rough.
Oh boy, we have a Cinder apologist. Obsidian Tear. And where Cinder Falls cries were heard, and she was able to start living for real, surrounded by a real family that would patch her up for real with her deep, wounded, fragile soul. Now she's enrolling in Beacon Academy with a lifelong confidant named John Ark, ready to make changes. But first things first, she just needs to partner up with him. Cinder times John.
Wait, isn't, like, Cinder at least 3 years older than the majority of cast?
Haha, yes! She's about
Actually,
25.
I don't know if we ever actually got a confirmation on her age or not. I don't know if that's ever come up outside of fan talks. and theory discussions.
The wiki, even the wiki doesn't have it,
Early
but
to
it's
mid
assumed-
20s in Volume 1.
Yeah, that's I I'm pretty sure that's mostly fan speculation still. I don't know if that was ever mentioned anywhere.
Huh.
She
Reddit
was assumed
Q&A.
10. She was assumed 10,
alright.
15. Oh.
Okay, yeah, if it's Reddit Q&A, then yeah.
According to Miles and Carrie, Cinder is confirmed to be early mid-20s.
Oof.
Who cares?
So she's at
She's
least
still
5
a
years
horrible
older than
human
she should
being.
be in the
I
academy.
know, our point is more the fact that this story has Cinder times John and they're in the same grade.
Yes.
Which would mean you need to DH Cinder by like 7 years.
You know, I think I'd rather read a story in which Jean's dad stumbles across her, adopts her, and now Jean has an 8th sister to deal with.
I mean, that's basically what happened here.
Yeah, except that this is a shipping fic, and I hope they
Oh,
don't
yes, yeah.
try and go the route of like, oh, it's they're adopted siblings, therefore it's because like, that's
Oh,
still
no, that's
weird.
exactly what's happening here.
That's not how the human brain works.
It is in Japan. Total eclipse of the heart. Oh boy, I can't imagine what kind of story this might be. Yang and Blake begin to drift apart. Oh, guys, they're drifting apart of all of that
No.
bonding they had before they drifted apart. Like, the time that Blake abandoned Yang, and the time that Blake abandoned Yang, and the other time that they talked once.
And then
Oh,
Blake
don't forget the
abandoned
time
Yang.
that Blake lied to everyone.
Right.
Oh, and then the other
Um,
time Blake lied to everyone.
And then the time that Blake parent trapped Yang into stabbing her ex-boyfriend?
Or the time she let her, or the time she just let her boyfriend stab her and take her arm.
That too. Yep. Yeah, all that bonding they had to drift apart with. But being back in Vale 10 years later might change a few things. Yeah, wait, hold on. 10 years later, after the war is over, so they're probably 30 now, still single, empty egg carton. Yeah, so Yang's just getting her first cat.
Get the fuck out of here.
The first cat.
Shame to admit that actually did get a silent shock out of me.
That was solid. Thanks. Oh god. Here we go. Here's a Ruby staple these days, fellas. New game plus on Remnant. A man
Shut up.
on his deathbed. It's not a John fic. A man on his deathbed is granted a second chance at life in Remnant with special conditions. He's a replacement for the Brother Gods.
I'm sorry, what?
What? Will he be
What?
able to unite all the races on the planet? Or will he stagnate and end up being a fool with a power complex? Probably the second one.
The second one. The second one.
Absolutely,
The
the
fact
second
that that's
one.
being put into question shows that he will.
One thing's for certain, though. Shit's never gonna be the same.
Cringe.
Let's see what could possibly go wrong. He calls his audience kings. Okay, so he watches Andrew Tate. I'm writing this to not get bored of Robo Game and to scratch the writer's itch to write new things. I still have not seen a single minute of Ruby Lamal.
Oh, no.
Honestly, that is something to brag about.
Yeah, but my question is, obviously he's getting his info from fanfictions.
Or the wiki.
Is he getting this info from the decent fanfictions?
Unlikely. It's probably gonna be the whole world's a game, core all the run fix.
Which are unfortunately some of the best in the section.
Yeah. I sit in my hospital bed. Everything feels cold. My body isn't responding anymore. I can't breathe. Even with all the machinery trying its hardest to breathe for me. Alright, so I'm looking around. He's using ellipses a lot, but it kind of works. The grammar's not too bad. I've been floating around for a while now. I get closer to something. I'm here in a place now. Glint of metal. Oh, a plaque. I drift closer and I read something. Damn it. Oh, old brothers, abandoned remnant, oath, human faunus. Faunus, wait, isn't this ruby things? Glory, oath, protect, repair, accept. Oh, that doesn't help at all. I began to float away from the plaque, but I'm interrupted by a screen. Oath of order taken. Okay, you know what? That's fair.
Wait, no, I didn't agree to this.
You just start shouting out the words you can read, and the last one's accept. It's like, congratulations, you've activated the magic. It's like, that was not my intention.
You know what? That's
Fuck.
actually kind of clever.
Oh god, that's funny. You can fill the void the gods left. By taking the oath to order, you have accepted the responsibility of fixing Remnant, uniting humanity and faunus, and you accept the responsibility to rein in the creatures of Grimm and to bring order to Remnant.
You know, I just want to point out, by the way, that this technically is like the best possible ending for Ruby.
What, where
Because the
some
gods-
random fucking person just shows up with gamer powers?
No, the gods are gone, which means that Salem's plan to have the gods destroy the world literally can't happen now.
Oh, yeah, that works. Yeah, that's fair.
She'll have to get off her lazy ass and do it herself.
Yeah. You unlocked the following abilities. Godly Will. Nothing can take you by surprise. Godly Body. Your body will grow and flourish as the people who believe in you do. Levels and stats are unlocked. Divinity. Those who give are rewarded twice-fold. You gain divine miracles, offerings, and follower systems. Magical Gift. Those who follow you fiercely are granted the gift of magic, costing 50 mana points. Creation. You are able to create things. Base cost 0 mana points. Destruction. You are able to destroy anything. Due to having a severe lack of followers, you have gained a flaw. Shrine locked. You are locked to your very first temple. You can only influence 50 meters outside of the shrine. This flaw will be lessened the more followers you acquire.
So, you just started. So we gimped you. By the way, the gimp is that you can't leave. And the gimp won't go away until you get more people.
Well, I mean, you're a god, so it's not like you're exactly on a timer.
Yes, still annoying.
Well, I mean, in this case, the timer is the inevitable heat death of this planet. Or its
That's
people.
true. You gotta get at least enough followers to leave before that one happens.
I mean, with the way Miles and Carrie have written Remnant, the humans are either going to get taken out by the Grimm or by nuking themselves. So,
We learned how to divide by dust. Divide by.
Hey, listen, don't question the power of divide by duck.
that could be a nice little one-shot crack fic there, Sneaky.
Yeah. Abilities granted. Identity. required. Input your name! Alright, so I just got euthanized. I'm here without a body. I found an ugly thing. I read a plaque. Accidentally made myself a god. Faunus were mentioned, so this is probably Ruby. Then I got granted a whole shitload of stuff, and I got home arrested. Am I god now? What, I can't remember my name. Ah, shit. I would start panicking again, but I can't panic anymore. That's concerning. But I can deal with that later. I'm not sure if it's smart to keep this thing waiting. Might end up giving me a randomized name. I guess I'll just say whatever name I want, I guess. Fucking hell. I think long and hard, thinking back to anything I could be a reference to. After, like, I don't know, 10 seconds, I settled on a fairly good name, I think. Might be a bit edgy, but whatever, it's my name now. My name is Neko Branco. Why?
What?
You are a
What did they
god,
say?
and
What?
your name is now Neko Branco.
Such an impressive god, Neko Branco.
Ah, yes, I worship the Neko Branco god. It's like it's that samurai meme of this is our new god now. I hope we lose. Our god's called Neko Branco. I hope we lose. You are the almighty god of creation and destruction, the one who will unite everything and bring true order to Remnant. And you named yourself Neko Branco. Phew.
This just makes me want to play White and Black again.
Yeah. Dude, did you ever see the White Black Worm crossover?
I did not. Is it horrible?
It was great. So Taylor gets chosen as the next Ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma accidentally becomes her priestess. And
I can see that.
goes absolutely fucking insane.
I can see that causing a small hiccup. Yeah.
Oh god, it's you!
Mental stability equals 0.
Mhm.
Oh, my stability is about to hit about 1.
You okay over there, buddy?
I don't know. Is it possible to Stack Overflow your stability?
Yes.
Because I think that's what's about to happen.
Oh.
I mean, that's a good thing.
thing.
So, as a godly spirit, he has 100 HP.
Is that like... Sneaky, is this like after WoW did the number crunch, where everything was at like 100 bajillion, and they're like, guys, this is getting fucking absurd. We're gonna bring it back down to just 100. Maybe that's what it is.
I don't think so.
Uh,
Yeah. He also, for some reason, as a god, has strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and luck points.
I mean, if it's like a D&D system, you know, he might just have like 40 or 50 if he's a newbie god, or is this just pure wish fulfillment? I'm gonna, be arbitrarily powerful.
Well, so the premise of the story is the guy dies, floats around as a soul for a while, finally sees this plaque, and he reads what words he can see on the plaque, except the plaque was actually a EULA, and by hitting accept on it, he took on the mantle of Remnant's new god. And
he got Eula'd.
Okay, so the author's a Mormon. Okay.
Yeah, he looked at a rock and hit accept on the EULA written on it.
That's what the Church
I'm
of
aware.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints
Yes.
believe in, right?
I'm aware.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, no.
The legendary translation rock.
On this.
It's the legendary translation rock. In order to get someone translated, all you have to do is brain them with it. It will perfectly translate your intentions.
Indeed. Um,
That sounds like an enchanted item that probably exists somewhere. No, numbers are the devil in a story like this. So
Oh, gosh, yeah.
you've already kind of lost me.
I
Never
mean,
put numbers
like,
down,
no, like,
ever.
honestly, if you're gonna do the god system, like you said, go with black and white. Go with follower numbers. Go with divinity points. Go with, magic cap. Shit like actual viable shit that you can play with as a god. Like, why the fuck does he have HP? Why does he have strength if he's supposedly a divine spirit?
I recall one worm story that actually did just that, Sneaky. It did it very well. Taylor had a faith meter. She cast from faith,
Right.
and she had basically zero faith in herself. So she was just completely screwed. But it focused all of her power around how many people believe in her, how many people make offerings to her,
Oh, yeah.
how many people.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was good.
Yeah, because it's also very flexible. It's part of the narrative in and of itself.
Right, exactly.
It's not. Yeah. Also, numbers get crazy. Numbers get very crazy very quickly.
Right. But at the same time, you can then use those numbers to be like, look, Taylor can now actually be a god and 1v1 this shit, and then you can have a cool epic battle and call it a day.
Assuming the story gets to the point,
Yeah.
I don't think of all the fanfics I've ever read that ever had like a gamer system, I think I've only ever recalled one that handled the numbers well. That's because the author was very simple and did everything as very low base with percentage modifiers, never varied from that. So the numbers couldn't get out of hand.
Please link it. I want to see this shit.
I can say about 10 stories, maybe, I've seen that were gamer that did it right. Mostly those written by Orf because I was writing his ass about them. The one written by Fat Flying Whale because he literally programmed a command line based rolling system for loot and for loot generation and for skill generation and for encounters, and literally he literally wrote a fucking game so he could roll numbers for his story.
Major props.
So yeah, or Fat Flying Whale. Sign wrote a gamer story. That was pretty decent.
Wait. Sign wrote a gamer story?
Yeah, he wrote a Ruby John gamer story.
Did I somehow miss this?
It's under a different name, and it is one of the most popular stories on Ruby, though.
Can someone like this?
It's not in the front page, I think, but I think it's in the top 30. Anyway.
You know what your audience wants.
Let me try to find this.
Decent stats, I guess, or are they? I don't know. I mean, buddy, I think if you're a god and you have any stat below 100, you're stupid.
You're not a god.
Look, if you're the ultimate god of creation and destruction, you have a definable stat, and you probably need to work on that. That's probably a problem.
Yeah. How am I supposed to make followers if I'm in the middle of a desert? Can I lure people in? Do I want to lure people in? Well, I don't know, buddy. Do you want to leave your shrine?
I mean, isn't he the ultimate god? Wasn't that established? Isn't he like...
Yeah, but due to having no followers, he's limited to his shrine.
He's basically a high-level spirit at this point, not a proper god.
You could do that maybe pretty well. It's like a Japanese comic.
Right, yeah, again, if he went with the black and white system, it would work so much better.
Yes, it would.
Oh.
Due to the vacancy of 2 gods, you'll get 2 traits. You will be granted the trait of light and dark due to the gods that are missing of light and dark. New abilities will be unlocked once you are transported to the material world. Oh, yo, that's busted! 2 traits?
Not really.
That's insane! Why are you acting like that's crazy good? You don't even know what stats you have. You don't even know what's good stats.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no context for what is and is not busted in this system.
Yo, I got traits, bro! It's like...
This is actually an excellent teachable moment, though. This is a case where an author understands what they're trying to communicate, but does not communicate it in the story. So, if anyone ever wants to write a story, make sure you explain why something is good or bad if you're introducing a concept like this. It doesn't matter how kick-ass it is in your head, the reader's not going to know.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I gotta ask, what's this black-white system you guys are talking about?
Black-White is a
God
game about as old as C8. And it's about a game of you being the not quite omnipotent, not quite omnipresent RTS god. Black-White. Yeah, when did Black-White come out?
That was Aura. You were asking, right?
Yeah, Aura was asking.
Yeah.
2001. Yeah, actually older than Pedro.
God. Almost as old as me.
Yeah, and you accrued followers, you sent your monsters against other gods, and it was an RTS with the spin of being a god.
Oh my god, that game is old as fuck.
Yeah.
It's still good, though.
I never played it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I played it
look,
like a little bit. I didn't really get it back then. But, like looking back on it, I was like, oh wow, that was actually a really good game.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, right? It's one of those things. Obviously, it's old and it's dated, so there's gonna be things that are missing and things that aren't in modern games.
Oh,
but
it's very jank, and you pretty much have to download the community patch to enjoy it.
Yeah, but what's there works really well. It's look, I go back and I look at the Battle for Middle Earth, right? And I go, was this really as good as a strategy game as I thought? And it's turns out, yeah, it was pretty good as an RTS. It has problems, but it's a pretty good RTS with some interesting ideas.
Here comes Bilbo McFucking-Baggins!
No, sadly, Bilbo was not available.
Yeah, he was in one
But
of those.
You could have most of the hobbits.
No, you could have Bilbo Baggins, my dude. No, sorry, that was Tom Bombadil. Right,
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that was in
Bombadil.
2. That was in 2 you could get Tom Bombadil. You couldn't get Tom Bombadil in 1.
Right. That was he was so fucking broken. Jesus Christ.
Tom Bombadil was fucking hilarious.
Isn't he some minor god or some shit?
Tom
Yes.
Bombadil existed before Eru Iluvatar did, as far as I'm aware.
No, Eru Iluvatar made everything. But Tom Bombadil is
No, but
he's one of the original angels.
No, it's Tom existed outside of time or some dumb shit. That's why the ring never worked on him, is because he was so old that, he existed before the concepts that can make up the ring existed, or some shit, and so it's it never worked on him because he literally, doesn't comprehend those concepts.
I can actually give the TLDR on that real quick.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Hit us.
Tom was not part of the Song of Creation.
Okay, there we go.
Something else. And Morgoth only affected the Song of Creation. So Tom just wasn't subject to Morgoth or Sauron's powers. He just wasn't part of what they had influenced.
Right, so he's parallel to Iluvatar. Got it.
He definitely wasn't as powerful as, but he might have been one of the spirits that lived in the darkness before Iluvatar created light.
Right, okay, so I was sort of right, yeah.
Well, and then the other thing people are saying is that part of the other reason the ring doesn't work on him is that Tom Bombadil is perfectly content.
True, yep, that too.
He doesn't want to change anything. He doesn't need to mess with anything, right? Because even Galadriel, she would do great things with the ring, but great and terrible things.
Yeah. But anyway, the reason why we're talking about black and white sign is because this story here has got the premise of isekai into being the god of remnant, because the god of remnant fucked off, and so he accidentally read a eula and hit accept without reading the whole eula, and now he's the god of remnant.
You never fucking do that.
And
Always read the eula, fool.
Tom Bombadil is the embodiment of the forest god's weird metaphysical thing. He's the Ent's chief god, basically.
Oh, okay, cool.
At least that's the theory.
That's the theory. Okay. But yeah, so the dude's locked to his shrine until he gets more followers. He has the aspect of creation and destruction, and he's limited by how many followers and how much faith he has. And then the author goes on to add the normal garbage bog standard gamer system to him. And we're all just like, why the fuck didn't he just go with black and white? And we're also kind of sort of realizing that maybe black and white was a little bit too old for
Way too old for that Zoomer.
So here's a serious question.
Yeah.
When you're writing a god character,
Yeah.
is it almost better to just make them human to avoid the trap of not being accurately able to depict something genuinely inhuman? Obviously, unless you're dealing with an
easier.
Something, but
I mean, it really depends on what your end goal is, in my opinion. Like if your end goal is to make a character that is apathetic to what's going on because it's just humans doing human things and they think on a orange-blue mentality, then making them less human is useful. But if you want to really stick it to people, you make them act human. But then when it comes to times where like decisions come in of like, oh, we gotta save those people because them dying is bad, the god's just like, what do you mean? That's like that inconveniences me. Like that, I don't want to put effort into doing that.
On the other hand, if you want to go through something like the hero's journey, you
Right.
start as a human and work your way up to a god.
of course, that's like the D&D situation where you can ascend with enough time, or even a Greek situation. No, I mean that is in and of itself the trap too. If gods are ancient heroes, there's probably needs to be a pretty dang good reason why they aren't fixing problems. No, thank you. Please do continue.
But yeah, I got attacked on my age recently. I saw a video. You guys ever see the states videos, the little state shorts, where
No.
the guy dresses up as like a various stereotype of a state, and they say stereotypes of that state stuff, and it's acting like all the states are at this table talking to each other.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw one of those recently, and the U.S. government's like, well, come on, Louisiana, you gotta tell me more about this bill about banning pornography and how that's gonna work out. I'm like, what's a realistic ID? Oh, they just gotta put in, like, the top 4 Backstreet Boys songs, or what was the code on the level 3 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game? And the U.S. government's like, you realize that 18-year-olds were born in 2005, right? Nope, doesn't sound like a real number.
Yeah.
Sounds accurate.
And I'm just like, fuck.
That's not the worst thing in the world. One day all the boomers will be dead and we'll have our chance to ruin things for the next 50 years.
Oh, well, we don't even need to wait for the boomers to be dead. We're already on our way of ruining everything for the next 50 years.
What do you mean on the way? It is ruined already.
That's true.
Fair.
We're just waiting for it to finish collapsing.
Listen, hey, everyone, how about we move to space and show these dirty Earthians just what we think of them?
That'd be fucking great. I'd get behind that.
The problem is that's a one generation problem. The last time they put a woman on the space station, she ruined it.
Oh god.
I will have you know that women make up 100% of space crime.
Whoa!
Guys, shut up.
It's true though.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're going to get us in trouble.
We were actually talking about this the other day on my server about how, so you look at South Africa, it's an example of this shit on Fast Forward, where if you get rid of all the people who have all the skills to maintain the stuff, the infrastructure and everything else, everything goes to shit. America is in a slow decline on this, and all the people who know how to fix all the equipment, all the plant, all the infrastructure, they're slowly aging out and retiring or dying, and there's no one being taught how to actually take care of this shit.
Well,
It's
not
20
quite
years.
South Africa level. It's not quite South Africa level where they force people out, but we've put a lot of effort into making sure that no one ever thinks about trade skills being good careers to go into. So we have a whole generation that basically ignored going into trade skills. So now we have a whole generation.
Derided, yeah.
Well, let's be clear. A whole generation that didn't just ignore it, but was actively steered away from it and told that this is a terrible idea and you'll have no future if you do that. So even the people who might have been interested in it swerved it.
Yeah.
And even the tradies who didn't, the people who actually went into it and are working, a lot of them just don't have that knowledge. It's lost knowledge at this point.
Yep. We are so fucked.
Oh, absolutely. They would have to replace entire swaths of infrastructure to fix the shit that's going to break inside 20, 30 years.
I mean, to be fair, lots of people in both sides of the government have been pushing for a spending bill, and we did finally get something passed, which, yes, I know there's a bunch of problems with it. Yes, I know there's a bunch of unnecessary bullshit, but it will at least fix some things, and fixing some things is better than fixing no things.
You say that, but...
Okay, no. Fixing the bridge that's broken over there means that bridge is fixed. Sure, the bridge over on the other place, 5 miles down the road, is still broken, but at least this one's fixed.
Yeah, and that's because over half the money went into somebody's pocket, and then the rest of it was completely mismanaged.
I have a funny story about broken infrastructure. There is a chain, and unironically, there's a chain of furries that takes care of my college's infrastructure, including an 88-year-old guy they sometimes have to call up because they're still using tech from when he was in charge of IT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, right at the company that I work at, our maintenance staff consists of it's run by a 75-year-old guy who has two 65-something-year-old men who work under them. And it was really exciting because we got a dude who's 45 on staff now. The youngest guy on the maintenance staff is 45.
Man, we are so fucked.
Yeah, we're fucked because they're looking to retire inside 10, maybe 20 years for the younger ones. And as soon as they go, all them skills that they didn't teach that 45-year-old and anybody else, well, those go bye-bye. Or God forbid they die.
If someone's going to need a hip replacement, and then something else is going to break. Not going to be fun.
Or somebody's going to get Alzheimer's, and then, oops, can't remember shit.
You can still just put them at the keyboard. Muscle memory will kick in.
I still remember one of the facilities I worked at previously had a old CCTV setup from the 1940s. And because the company never wanted to spend money to fix it or replace it, which To be fair, it was estimated at $16 million to replace it.
Not
Listen.
surprised.
Listen, sometimes you got to replace it. Sometimes your name is Southwest, and you're going to get hit with so much more than a $16 million fine.
Yeah.
I can comment on that with actual insider knowledge, but no.
Yeah, don't do that while we're on air.
Yeah, do that when we're off air.
And so one day, of course, obviously, it breaks, and we have to fix it because it is vital to our monitoring systems of the facility. And so they had to go bring this 85-year-old dude out of retirement and pay him $130K an hour to fix it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Not surprised.
Damn.
He took his time doing it too, didn't he?
Probably. He is the only guy who is certified to work on this system in the entire Northeast.
Could someone drag C8 up?
Nah.
Jesus, though, that's
Yeah.
sad.
Sounds like you're asking the mods to do their job.
Yeah, it sounds like, not my fucking problem.
I mean, I did it, but, I expect to be paid for it.
You'll be paid
Listen,
in,
the only reason we have mod powers is to abuse them.
Exactly.
Fair.
And listen. See, we're the best kind of mods. We're going to tell you that we're going to abuse our power. And there's no arguing with it.
What the fuck is this Zoomer shit? Holy crap. Dies Ruby also Sprack Zarathustra. Ruby takes Ren place in story. Main character Spot Zarathustra Ubermensch has been filled rated M for detail gore and decapitation. Thank Maria.
Some German shit.
What the
What in the
fuck?
absolute fuck?
What did she
3
read?
chapters, 3,500 words? Oh, no, 4,000.
Note, I know this
Trash.
won't get much attention, plus this is my first story, so yeah, more people should get Dies is Revealed visual novel PM pirate method, no ads, no redirects, true, legit stream link, 100% come to me and trade me stuff on Steam. It's been long
Is
time.
this meant from India?
No. The passable German would indicate otherwise.
No, he's
Just
quoting
skipper.
he's quoting a German. He's quoting a Japanese German manga. It's a Japanese manga about German people.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Oh yes.
Transcend
I
this
don't
ghetto
like
of
reading
foreknowledge. This ghetto of foreknowledge.
What?
Hey,
Unintentional.
English?
Oh, say that again. I need to appreciate that one more time.
Transcend.
No, wait, Sticky. I want you to get some
Yeah.
oomph in there.
All right,
Get
well,
some
okay. Let me go
dramaticism.
grab some alcohols.
Oh god.
I assumed you were already double fisting it, bro.
Excuse you, Sticky has class. He doesn't double fist.
No, he
right
fists.
He has a beer hat.
Oh please. If he doesn't have a keg on tap, that's not class.
Oh, my grandma shamed me for my taste in vodka. I happen to be a fan of Hammer and Sickle vodka, and I got made fun of for
Are
that.
you a fucking communist?
Yeah, well, it's that or
You
Tito's,
should.
and I don't like Tito's, so...
All I heard was
Vodka when you should be drinking tequila.
Bro, just drink some Haku.
Actually ran out of, I actually have a bottle of Tinjaku, and I'm finishing off at the moment.
Have you ever tried paint thinner?
Have
I
you ever
don't think
tried
Sneaky's lungs would
Spiritus?
survive.
I've drunk Spiritus before. Drank a whole bottle of Spiritus.
Come on, Snooky, give us the line.
Just a flex. I'll go buy some of that bathtub hooch. a hole in my stomach.
Will he be able to transcend this ghetto of foreknowledge?
That's the stupidest fucking line I've ever heard. I love it. We listen. We gotta make a T-shirt out of that. But if we make a T-shirt out of anything in this
This
show,
ghetto of foreknowledge?
This needs to be like a poorly aged 1980s exploitation film of some sort.
It's Indian, some shit, I don't know.
I feel like
It's should be dubbed.
wait, okay, all right, Sign. Your new job is to write. Just go nut wild. Whatever you think the base story of this ghetto of foreknowledge should be, go for it. As long as it's a noir story.
I have a small request. The 4 in foreknowledge should be the number 4, and it should be explicitly stated that this is the 4th part of a series, and the first 3 entries are just never explained ever.
I come back to ghetto of foreknowledge.
The ghetto
Welcome.
Ask no questions.
foreknowledge!
You don't want. Do not ask questions. You will receive answers that you do not desire.
Sometimes this show gives us good things.
And sometimes
Now I
it
want
goes
to know.
ghettos of foreknowledge.
No, this is one of those good things. This is definitely one of those good things.
Alright then.
Alright, time to use my Ebonics translator to leave a review.
Oh no, Sneaky.
No.
Sneaky.
The Ebonics translator. Oh god, you remember when we used that on
Oh, by the
some
way, so
fanfiction?
the guy that I sent the Ebonics message to blocked me,
Oh, no.
and the guy that I sent the German message to blocked me and said that I was a loser, and then he's gonna keep writing child father porn.
Well, he also said your German's bad, and
Yeah, he also said my German
I
was
read
bad.
that part. I'm like, most people would be intelligent enough to realize that this is probably not a native speaker, and they're probably relying on Google Translate. But no, he just assumed your German was bad rather than non-existent.
Well, of course, he's German.
He just assumed that the
fact-
gibberish that passes for German.
Okay, the thought of Sneaky actually speaking German terrifies me.
Yeah, no. So if
I
there's
mean, look,
any language
he's
I would speak,
angry
it would be
enough
Russian.
to speak it properly.
Nah, Russian.
First it's the German, then it's the jackboots,
Please, you'll never catch me in jackboots.
then it's getting the Flammenwerfer.
Fallschirmjägerlied intensifies.
Yeah. This is rightful American clay. Be gone. The reason why
What's
no
wrong
one
with
will
that?
ever read this story is because it is an absolute train wreck of what the fuckery, and I am so deep nonsense.
Someone mentioned Russian. Sneaky, you previously complained about Latin names. I recently found out that the letter Z in the Russian alphabet, the equivalent of the letter Z, is a fucking 3.
Yes.
It's just a 3.
Yes.
Why? How?
It's Russia.
Russia. Let's see, is there anything else I should say here?
Can't wait to see how they translate what the
You
fuck
are an utter... What?
Your channel on Twitch is translating itself into Russian automatically. So you have ascended, bro.
Nice! Based.
What the fuck?
Based.
That's not based. That is, oh, this is clearly spying on me.
Oh.
You are an utter illiterate moron who has never read words on a page before.
Now give us that sick translation.
I pity you, fool, for your spawn shall truly be cursed.
Implying he will have a spawn at all.
Yeah,
he will
he will
definitely have
100% have spawn, and
Sadly.
yeah. Holy shit! Well, damn.
Post it on the Discord.
I am posting it as a review. This is 100%. I spelled everything correctly. This is what it gave me as a translator.
That hurts to look at.
Yeah.
Where do you post it?
I posted it.
Where? Oh, there it is. Jesus Christ!
My eyes
I can
This
hear
is-
it.
I ask that you do not do this in the future.
No.
This hurts to read. I can hear it in my head.
That's right, you live in Louisiana, so you probably would hear this.
Yes. I can hear it with the full accent and everything. It's awful.
Oh, God. Immortal BDS!
How the fuck did it butcher illiterate that badly?
Ebonics.
It turned illiterate into Allah.
Psy, Damon, or the. Oh, so it's an SI. It's requested by Elvis fan 994 inside Kunai played. It's Sal. So okay, it's an SI of the requesters. All right, okay.
What?
No comment.
What?
Look, hold on. Somebody requested this person, to write an SI of the person who requested it. Am I getting that right?
That's what it seems to be. I read the summary and looked at the first page, and then I was done.
So it's an other insert. It's not a self-insert. It's a somebody else insert.
This dude's only reviews are me and himself. And he's hawking...
Oh, Jesus.
He's really hawking his fucking translation of the manga. Jesus Christ. This dude's trying to sell some manga on the side.
Sigma grind set.
Oh,
It's actually
God.
a Bitcoin miner, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Started off as individual mercs, became rock band and stable. Now Huntsman, Beacon Academy.
Wait, hang on. Stable. What do you mean stable?
You know what he means.
They became a stable. Literally, they turned into a wooden
Beacon
outbuilding
Academy
platform
will
used
never
output.
ever be the same again. Join Psy, Damon, Nicolas, Draco as they take on the adventures in Remnant, requested by Elvis Fan 994 and Psy Kunai Blade, currently under V2 rewrite.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, then it really is a stable. It's a reverse harem.
This story reached 7 chapters before undergoing a V2. There has to be some sort of record.
Horrible.
I don't know, we got to
thing
like, what,
to
chapter
do.
5 max before we V2'd our story?
Why would you do this?
Yeah, and it wasn't even a real V2. We were just massively overhauling the first chapter and fixing up some
Second chapter.
loose
a little bit.
threads on the second.
Yeah.
So, is it really a V2 if we fix the first chapter?
Not really,
and,
no.
Like a third of the second?
The Way of the Maiden, Star Wars Ruby. 500,000 words!
Oh boy.
Christ.
The world of Remnant is notable for its warriors, such as huntsmen and huntresses. so huntsmen. However,
And of course, they send for Mandalorians.
However, they pale in comparison to the Mandalorians! Ah, yes, the Mandalorians, famous for being able to lift several tons, shoot lasers from their eyes, turn into time, and become invincible.
Look, they have their...
Mandalorians have guns.
I mean, honestly, if we're gonna go Star Wars standards, literally the hunters of Remnant are quite literally just Jedi.
Yeah, they're Force users.
No, they're shitty Jedi.
They're Jedi with superpowers.
They're not Jedi. They are Force users, though, because there are a lot of Force users in the galaxy who aren't Jedi or Sith, but who can do crazy shit like fucking out of Avatar: The Last Airbender, shit like that.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, so I really like how this guy's like, oh yeah, but the Mandalorians are still better. It's like, buddy. Buddy.
Well, they actually use guns as guns, unless they're using a gun as a club, which unfortunately happens a lot. But
That makes a really shitty club.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? They pale in comparison to the Mandalorians, a group of mysterious warriors that live on Remnant.
You fucking what?
Yep.
I could see the Mandalorians trying to recruit hunters.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
No. They're like just dudes with guns.
This is my favorite thing ever because... Favorite thing ever isn't... It's terrible. Because this story is actually a Ruby AU that completely disregards Star Wars except for the part where there's Mandalorians on the planet.
Okay, see, what's funny is that Mandalorians are actually named for the planet they come from, Mandalore.
Yes.
If they lived on Remnant, they wouldn't be Mandalorians, now would they?
Yeah,
It's actually their home village now.
But you're dumb, and they live in the they live in the hidden village of TNT.
That would actually be pretty fucking Mandalorian.
Okay.
I mean, listen, the Mandalorians would show up somewhere just to mess with people. Like, this is my house now.
On Remnant, they would immediately get eaten by, the giant sea monster.
Yeah.
It's
And then they
not
commit
exactly a habitable world.
This is the story of one particular Mandalorian known as the Mandalorian, and how he changed the lives of children and will lead
Shut your filthy mouth.
this group of children on an adventure. So he meets up with Team Ruby, and he leads Team Ruby on a Ruby AU'd version of the Mandalorian show.
Yep.
I can understand how they got 500,000 words out of that, but at the same fucking time, Jesus Christ, that sounds incredibly boring.
I mean, the show wasn't that bad.
I would say it's a
didn't say the show was bad.
story. It's a 2-year-old story of 500k words, and it is all a fucking rehash.
It's not just a rehash, it's a rehash, but filtered through Ruby only.
So just infinitely worse.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts Ruby novelization, 150,000 words.
There's another rehash.
Yeah.
But why the fuck do people write novelizations? Just why? It's a fanfiction website.
Because they're hacks.
Complete lack of creativity. Yes,
Yeah.
because they're hacks.
Yeah. The Bat and the Blonde! Scarecrow has returned to Gotham City. Only Batman and his new sidekick Yang can stop it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Wait.
Repeat that.
Are they ready for the perils ahead of them? The coalition of villains working together, a militia out for the blood of the bats, and familiar faces that no one was prepared for. It's the greatest challenge ever for the grand final adventure between Yang and Batman, but can they pull it off?
Oh my god.
Oh, hey guys, it's by Sai Kunai Blade.
Who's that again?
The guy from the earlier story.
Quest earlier.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no.
As soon as he said his sidekick Yang, the entire voice chat lit up. Yeah, that's the voice equivalent of everyone is typing.
To be perfectly honest, Yang is still better than Spoiler. Modern DC is just awful.
Spoiler's trash, but Cass is best girl.
Is she the mute Asian one?
Yes.
Gotcha. I can't keep up anymore.
In Battle Pipe, it's hard.
Oh God, why? Against the Tide, a what-if scenario of John Ark if he was actually Superman rescued by Nicholas and Salem Ark.
What?
In a large amalgam universe of Ruby, DC,
Oh, God.
Marvel,
Shut up.
Fate, and Mass
Shut up.
Effect.
Shut up.
Sneaky, can you stop breathing?
Expect many multiversal
Can you stop
adventures
breathing?
before
Wow.
he can reach Beacon Academy, because there's aliens in this story, and the aliens have aliens, and there's different cultures and biologies, and there's gonna be a polyamorous relationship.
My sans
The
score
hoary
just
horses of Hogarth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Sneaky, would you look on the reviews? Because there's only 6 for 200,000 words.
Dude, there's 40 chapters, 200,000 words, and 6 reviews. Bruh.
Okay then.
That is telling.
Also, I have no idea why, but you said Nicholas, Sneaky, and for some reason my brain auto-completed it to Cage, and I don't know why.
Nicholas
That was
Cage and
instantly
Salem
make the song
raise
1,000
John
times
Ark
better.
in Superman.
Stop!
It was Superman. Don't forget that.
Max, shut up.
Is it?
I'm not Max.
No, you guys didn't hear the full thing. It's Nicholas. It's a movie trailer. It's Nicholas Cage and Salem raising John Ark as Superman, Man of Steel.
Talking.
That sounds like a YouTube skid video title.
Yep.
No, what it sounds
Nicolas
like.
Cage and Salem raise Superman John, but it's in Ruby
But
and
it's
there's
no,
Master
but it's
Chief
taking place in
and
Mass Effect
Batman and
Stop.
Shiro Emiya.
with his brothers Spyro the Dragon and Shiro Emiya.
No.
I am extremely sad Twitch doesn't let me clip clips of 1 second because
How-
Sneaky, can you please stop breathing? Would be just fucking gold.
Guest
How much
starring
more
Sonic
content
the
can we make
Hedgehog.
this?
Sneaky, can you please stop
Can you
breathing?
please stop breathing? What? Oh,
Oh God! Oh boy! Mm. You know what it does sound like? That whole premise sounds like one of those AI generated clips that was on YouTube for a while, where it's like,
That's what he said.
yeah, okay. There's like, Hitler in a Spider-Man costume impregnating the Hulk as they dance the Fortnite shuffle.
And
I mean,
is also
listen,
there.
that'd be kind of impressive when you think about it.
You say that, but the Joker, unironically, is giving birth to a mud monster baby.
Don't talk
Yeah.
about that.
It does not exist.
Ah,
But
God, I'm getting a
apparently-
hangover.
Currently.
I need to drink more alcohol.
The craziest ideas are only going to come out more and more into the future as sales continue to decline, especially as a measure of market share. So the craziest thing you can come up with is probably going to get a full book run at some point.
You
And,
say that like the Velma reboot isn't currently happening.
I watched
It's happening. They are just, they hate it. Also, it's because they keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down to infinity. Oh, well, this didn't work. People complain about it being too woke. We'll just make it more woke next time and give them more of what they hate.
That's the thing. Velma, I watched it. It's basically because I genuinely wanted to see how bad it was going to be. I watched it. I ended up just kind of a little sad. Not much else. It's written like an edgy romance fanfic from about 7 or 8 years ago.
Because it is. That's who the writers are.
Exactly. And that is, I don't even necessarily think it's political anymore. I think it's just people are genuinely so
They're out of touch.
incapable of quality.
Yeah, this is the reason why I started this podcast all those fucking years ago, because I was saying this back in 2012. And I only started the podcast back in 2016, but I was saying this back in 2012, where if we allow fan fiction to be the source of our next generation of writers, and we don't actually crack down and tell these shit writers that they're shit, then our future media is going to be written by these shit writers. Our new TV shows, our new games, our new movies are going to be written by the absolute garbage of garbage tier who got popular because they wrote mass power fantasy harems and were never told how to write a fucking sentence straight.
And you know the worst thing is, these are grown-ass adults that still can't write a sentence straight because they just right-click autocorrect.
That's my point.
Yeah, no, that's literally what I'm saying. It's even as they've grown up, even as they've gotten years in the industry, you know, they've been isolated, they've been insulated from consequences.
They've come to rely on their technology too much, so they don't actually have to try, and they just lean on the tech.
I made it worse.
Sometimes when I get annoyed at myself for spelling things incorrectly, I will like turn off my spell check, be like, no, you know how to spell these, you lazy shit. Spell them correctly.
What's bad for me is I spell things correctly. The spell checker tells me I'm wrong. Then I run it through the dictionary, and the dictionary tells me I'm right.
Yeah.
Yo, I was sending a message to Max. Like it was a custom paint job on a Gunpla, and I was like, oh wow, this is a really nice paint job. And it highlighted the entire sentence, including job, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, did I have a stroke?
Yeah,
Am I retarded? No, and I'm checking it, and I'm like, no, I didn't misspell paint, I didn't misspell job, I didn't misspell nice. Did it somehow think I'm a Russian?
No, what it is that Apple, Android, Microsoft now even, Grammarly, all of these spell checking programs to quote unquote improve spelling are using now collective data gathering to see how a majority of people spell a word, and then that's what they use to correct to. So if a lot of people don't fucking know how to spell and then hit ignore on the spell check because they think they know what the fuck they're saying when they don't fucking know, then the spell checker puts it in his fucking database as, no, this is how you spell the word.
Then how do you explain something like LibreOffice, which I never fucking update, which has the same kind of error where it just completely derps on an entire sentence for about 2 minutes before it goes, oh wait, no, you're wrong. I'm wrong.
I will send for LibreOffice. They are open source, so it's probably an open source issue. But even what Sneaky was saying, it's worse because all these language programs, machine learning programs, aren't just trained on a single language. They will get confused and they will start picking up other languages.
Get real confused between American English and British English.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You know what Pigeon is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There was a real big issue with Microsoft Word, I think it was picking up Pigeon and was basically replacing British English with it because it just didn't understand why so many people were saying this if it was wrong. So all of these machines and all this AI and all this software is eternally victim to garbage in, garbage out.
Uh-huh.
We're putting a lot of garbage in.
That's because we keep importing garbage.
Yep.
You know, I can't wait until 20, 30 years in the future, if we survive the great calamity that is coming, to basically what is considered to be the most mid shit today to just be considered peak fiction, because
You know,
everything is
I
just
am
so
almost
bad.
tempted to just fucking kick you out of this chat right now for saying that Zoomer garbage.
Mid.
What?
God
What?
damn.
Ah, fuck!
Yeah, that's right. You've been infected.
You are part of the problem, C8, and you will be part of the solution.
The final solution.
No.
Damn, that was brutal, bro.
Alright, yeah, you can let him back in if he comes back.
No. No, C8 is right.
Yes.
Things are gonna get so wonky and so crazy at some point. At least,
Dude, I got told I was racist for saying we should put periods at the end of sentences.
Explain.
I need some
Reddit.
heavy context for that one.
my mother's a teacher, and that is actually something they're trained on. You need to like respect the different forms of speaking and writing, and you need to work with people. The problem is though, is she teaches a lot of people that are English as second language need to learn, read, write, and speak English.
I feel so fucking bad for the second language English people because they are entering into a language that's currently in a civil war about how it's spoken.
No, it's worse than that, Sneaky. It's in like 4 civil wars, each of which is fighting each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the ESL people actually do a hell of a lot better than a lot of native English speakers.
Oh, I know they do. It's because they actually want to learn the fucking language.
Listen, my grandfather went out of his way to teach ESL at a library. He loved it. Everybody there wanted to learn. Also, I should just make it, my grandfather wasn't technically an English teacher, but he was starting his farming degree at 16, so.
Anyway, so up next we have My Little Pony, Ruby crossover, Sapir V2, Interlude 2, Atlas. Rainbow Dash, Blake and Weiss return to Atlas to lick their wounds after the Battle of the Breach, but their break is interrupted by a desperate cry for help, which draws them into battle with the mysterious Merlot Industries.
Honestly, My Little Pony and Ruby is something you probably
260k words!
Up. You take that shit back.
No, power of friendship, bro. It's a
No.
little...
They're
Fine,
ponies. We do not do clop here.
No,
Yeah, the
no,
only
no.
one who clops his
Actually,
nose hair, and he
like,
ain't here right now.
My
Oh,
sister
that's-
watched it from time to time. If I was babysitting her, I kind of absorbed it passively. I remember one episode where it's like this equality village where everyone has to be like exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, no, to be fair, that was a pretty based episode where they just absolutely shit on communism.
Yeah, no. So I could see like that setting legitimately just being like, hey, let's solve problems with like talking things out and not being dumb and making things infinitely worse for ourselves. So, I could see that being an actually interesting take on working on issues rather than just ignoring them and shooting your ex-boyfriend.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Ruby! Are you guys ready for some child pedophilia?
No.
No, not particularly, and I'd prefer if we didn't do that, actually.
Golden Rose Ice Cream, Giorno spawns into Remnant and gets into a love triangle between Ruby and Neo. Alternative universe, I've aged
Okay,
everyone
I mean,
up
I'm
to
okay
18.
with 2 parts of that triangle.
I've aged everyone up to 18. Beacon didn't blow up. Neo never met Roman, and Oscar is attending Beacon.
This
What?
just is their own
Why?
whole idea.
I mean,
Giorno times Neo times Ruby.
okay. So Neo's the odd one out there, because I think Giorno is actually a year younger than Ruby.
Yes, Giorno is actually a year younger than Ruby. That's why I said child pedophilia, because Neo's like 20 something.
Yeah. That,
Child pedophilia is redundant, Sneaky.
No, it isn't. Pedophilia.
It's like saying animal bestiality, Sneaky.
Yeah, well, I'm about to hit you with an ATM machine.
These days,
It's on a pipe bomb. At least there's money in it.
It's gonna be filled with corners.
oh man, that reminds me of that horrible Resident Evil sequel. With the what's her name, Mila Jovovich has the shotguns loaded with the quarters. That's a really good movie compared to what we have. these days.
Yes, I like that one. Yes. Which, I mean, that's actually using quarters is actually a legitimate buckshot method.
Okay, that's cool. I imagine it's probably cheaper than actual ammo these days.
Using quarters is a legitimate method for buckshot if you're 2 feet away. If you're over 15 feet away, not so much, no.
Well, no, Mick shittin' Christ. You don't say. Using ammo specifically designed to be fired from such a gun is way better than using fucking currency?
Look, I can hit a target with buckshot at 150 yards, easy peasy, kill a deer at that range. Fucking coinage is gonna get you 15, 20 feet tops.
Yeah, but have you ever killed someone with a stack of dimes?
We don't talk about that.
That'll be a hell of a story, man.
Just fill your shotgun shells with some nickels and dimes, and you can really give it to them.
No man, you got to do it 1776 style. You got to get a blunderbuss. You got to like load it with like silver dollars.
Hey, don't waste silver dollars like that, yo. Just fill it with like pennies.
Oh god, can you imagine? It's like a fucking mini punt gun!
Yeah, that's kind of why I suggested pennies, y'all.
That's what the blunderbuss is, yes.
On the other hand, if you're going for the money shot, you may as well use buffalo nickels.
Talio.
What is a buffalo nickel?
It's a nickel that has a 3-legged buffalo on it.
It's worth about $300 a pop.
You never seen a buffalo nickel? They're kind of cool.
I might have one. My granddad might have given me
Destiny's
one.
Divide, a Bionicle Ruby crossover. What?
Whoa, I was not expecting
I'm
Bionicle
sorry.
of all
Could
things.
you repeat that?
I feel old.
After the Battle of Atlas, Team Ruby falls into the void, which brings them into a world far unlike theirs, where biomechanical fighters known as Bionicles fight to survive their own immortal Lord of Darkness. Will they find healing and a way back to Remnant by allying with the powerful Toa, or will they succumb to the shadows of despair, be they Makuta or their own? Bionicle Ruby crossover post-version Volume 8. 300,000 words! What the fuck?
It's the Bionicle fandom, Sneaky.
Wow.
It's the Bionicle fandom.
Why?
You know, I gotta say, I feel bad for that guy. He's got 300k words, 67 reviews. You got the Naruto crossover right under 43 words, 75 reviews.
Yeah, literally double his numbers.
Yeah.
broken moon, a Rardo Ruby crossover. His sacrifice was meant to be the end, despite what the Ninetales wanted. Victory came at a cost. Now they're stuck on a new world. Can Naruto find his place amongst the land? With darkness seeping in from all sides, he will be tested. Luckily for him, a certain old woman with prosthetic eyes is here for the ride. Under her guidance, perhaps he can find the peace he long sought. Naruto times Ruby.
Why does this sound familiar?
Cause
Why is Maria involved?
it's actually a fairly new fic published only 20 days ago. And the reason why it sounds familiar is because it's blatantly ripping off several of the most popular Naruto Ruby fics.
That's why.
Not just several, a majority.
Most of them, yes.
So what's Bionicle about?
You know what? Let's not jump down that rabbit hole.
That is a
tonight.
rabbit hole you do not want to know.
So
without losing a lot
basically,
of time.
imagine Bionicle is really big Legos that have the lore of Lovecraft.
And
Not
Star Wars.
entirely wrong.
Bionicle is what happens when you take 10 people who all have Tolkien's dedication to lore and world building, tell them go crazy, while Hasbro cranks out Lego-style toys.
And then Lego gets a hold of them and starts capitalizing on it by putting it in a fucking comic book.
More or less or equivalent
No, that
racism
was
in Lovecraft.
great.
Okay, actually, there was a significant amount of racism in Bionicle.
Yeah, there are whole species that are inherently evil and exist only to corrupt and destroy. Also, there is a literal chosen race, and the race you're born into determines who and what you are, unless you literally graft parts of other races onto yourself
Yeah.
to gain their abilities.
Also, ignore the fact
assuming
that the
that
chosen
grafting
race is
doesn't
made of gold
kill you.
and that the evil race is black. Just ignore that stuff.
Hey, hey.
No, listen. It's not great. It's not great. There's a lot of
Bionicle!
It's
Bionicle
in
was something
it was
else.
way too dark for a children's cartoon.
Yeah, like Bionicle was 100% one of those shows that you're like, as a child, you're like, oh yeah, this is so cool, and then like as an older person, and you're looking back on it, and you're just like, holy shit, this is fucking dark.
I mean, isn't that all the best children's shows, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I rewatched the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Evil Concarne the other day.
Oh,
that was a trip back in time.
Billy and Mandy, that was a show.
Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
A death from that show unironically got me into Bob Marley.
I actually genuinely liked Death from Billy and Mandy. Like that was a really well played character.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, Death was awesome. So was Mandy. I like the snark.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the writer was probably inspired by was it Wheel of Time? That's the one with Death in it, right?
No,
That's,
Rimworld, Discworld.
Discworld, yeah, sorry, my bad. Discworld, there we go. Yeah, probably inspired by Discworld.
Speaking of good depictions of death, the new Puss in Boots movie had a really cool death. Did anyone watch that?
Not at all.
You want to hear about a shitty depiction of death? Look at the new shit coming out of Netflix with the Neil Gaiman thing.
Oh, God.
Now,
really,
listen, that's a
shit.
bad. Here's the problem. I'm so annoyed with that because death in that series is great.
Yes, Death of the Endless is awesome.
Oh, didn't they race swap her?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember reading an article about that, then going, "Oh, I'm not gonna watch that," and going on. But what was it about? Anyways, I imagine this is probably going to be one of those greenlit for 3 seasons, only gets one type deal.
Probably. And yet, people are clamoring for more Wednesday. Apparently, she was based.
Oh, Wednesday was fantastic.
Is it worth watching it? My mom and my sister watched it, but I'm too much of a fan for the OG Addams
Okay, so
Family.
it's different from the OG stuff because this is focused on Wednesday, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I know that sounds dumb, but like, really, it is. This isn't about the Addams family. The Addams family is there. Morticia is largely speaking Morticia.
Young
Cousin
adult
is
AU.
largely cousin, right? But you're focused on Wednesday.
All right, I might take a peek at it, but
Watch the first episode. It's not going to be for everyone. It's there's enough of the old show there that you'll recognize it, but it's different enough that you're going to be kind of like, eh.
They fucked up Gomez.
No, they were more faithful to Gomez than, the original comics had him as a fat toad-like guy, and the later...
Gomez is always going to be the guy from Addams Family Values.
Yeah. That's right.
I think I would have been okay if it didn't feel like it was a young adult witch show or some crazy crap that's a dime a dozen. But I'm also a boomer. I'm definitely I'm not a fan of anything that's not exactly the way it was when I was that age. So
My brother in Christ.
I'm basically impossible to please with modern media. I almost always find something I don't like, except for the Top Gun movie. The Top Gun movie was actually genuinely fun.
That was great.
Tom Cruise is crazy, nutty as squirrel poo. But he does a good job, and he comes in and he busts his butt. Actually, probably the most fun I ever had recently was watching The Witcher Blood Origin. Because I talked crap about it the whole time, and my family actually laughed this time instead of getting angry at me for talking during the show.
Here's the problem: The Witcher Blood Origins is. I'm not even gonna go there. Not even gonna go there. Not even gonna.
Awful.
Look, Henry Cavill quit because they ignored the source material, and yeah, Henry Cavill was right.
Yep.
Please, Henry, please don't let them screw up. Listen, Warhammer is already an incredibly hard property to adapt correctly. Mostly because half the time Warhammer doesn't even know what it's doing with itself because it can't decide if it wants to be haha funny lulz, British 1970s humor, or dark gritty 1990s. I just finished watching Aliens for the 7th time.
On a scale of My Little Pony to Warhammer, how dark is Bionicle?
Warhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets.
Worm.
It gets.
My dude, we start with a hero's journey. By the time you finish, we've had identity crises, we've had mind control, we've
Cannibalism.
had mind break, we've had
Apocalypse.
we've had several apocalypses. Well, actually, you know what? Let's stick with just the basic stuff, just the original cast.
Just stick to the 3 movies.
Yeah.
There's already a lot to unpack in those 3 movies.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of shit in Bionicles that just gets dark and twisted as hell.
Well, I'd actually say Bionicle is really comparable to Wheel of Time if the Dragon Reborn didn't manage to actually mess up the cycle. It's literally doomed to eternally repeat this rise and fall of civilizations. Doesn't it literally end with Lord of Darkness or something managing to prevent himself from being removed from existence? So it literally will be a perpetual cycle.
No, it
No,
just ended out of nowhere. it just
I
kind of
must be getting
disappeared.
confused.
I mean, to be
We
fair,
s-
that's because the toys stopped making money. So.
Oh, I know, and the toys stopped making money when they started introducing shit like the Paraka, which, while having cool designs, kind of missed what made Bionicle so popular with the younger audience at the time.
Boo Barber?
No, the general. Okay, so they introduced the Paraka, which is when I remember it all going downhill.
Mhm.
And I remember it going downhill because they started introducing 90s like hip hop thematic stuff into the story with this new cast, but it was like mid 2000s by that point,
Gotcha.
and we'd gotten our most of us 90s kids had gotten our 90s fill by then.
Gotcha. So they were trying to go urban and edgy and stuff like that, and it just wasn't clicking.
Yeah, good. I can track down some of the commercials for you so you could see exactly where
I
it
got you,
started.
man. Because from what I remember, Bionicle is a grim, dark world masquerading as noble bright, with moments of genuinely good emotional storytelling for a bunch of robot toys in the middle of it all.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
Yeah, there was a ton of like it was a multimedia project, a massively successful one at that. Games, comics, toys, I think a TV
and
show, and
movies.
3 or 4 movies.
Yeah, they had full
There was a TV
movies.
show.
There was a TV show?
There was
Yep,
a
it was
TV
on
show.
Fox.
There was a TV show. There were cartoons. There was some really great web games.
I'm so glad I
knew
never
the
touched
games,
any
I
of
knew
it.
like the movies and other stuff and comics. I never knew they had a TV show.
Also,
Yeah.
some of the console games were not terrible. Like,
I had the
Also some
PlayStation
PC
2
games.
one. Was not a fan of it, honestly. Perhaps I was just a shit as a kid when it came to playing it, but it was not very fun in my opinion. It was very clunky.
I will say
It's
this
very
for
likely to
fan
happen,
fiction
yes.
writing, if you want to do 90s stuff, you can do 90s stuff, but you have to be careful and it's like, cinnamon or vanilla. Just a little bit of 90s stuff, people reach their limit of it very quickly. But no. It's you gotta know your audience, you gotta know your time, you gotta know your time.
The Witch of Roses. Ruby Rose, huntress extraordinaire, sacrifices herself against Salem, and she was reborn into the world of limitless possibility. Memories occasionally coming back to haunt her, and a chip on her shoulder when it comes to God screwing over humanity. What could ever go wrong? Ruby Fate DXD crossover.
No, they've already fucked it up. No.
Pyrrha is in Sona's peerage.
Bruh.
That's
The first part was already painful. Let's just keep getting worse.
Yeah, that was already going to be a hard sell.
You know,
either one of
honestly,
these.
I can actually see the Ruby cast not. If I can see the Ruby cast if they were written true to being people in charge of the defensive remnant, I can see the Ruby cast not becoming devils. Like being against the idea of turning their back on humanity and becoming devils.
Isn't that the whole point of like Ruby is like you have to be like true to your friends and loved ones. You have to accept who you are and grow as a person. I mean, obviously they fumbled that hard in the actual show. But
That was the idea, yeah.
That was probably Monty's idea with it. But we've seen what they think about Monty's memory.
Yeah.
You can write a good DxD story. You can have a lot of fun with the universe. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the universe. But if you're gonna do a crossover like that, don't just weld on Fate to the end. Even if you're just using like a few concepts, don't. That's so much baggage. That's so much extra stuff.
Fate just adds so much weight to a story that if you're not paying attention to it, then you shouldn't be using it.
Fate is cancer, but everyone wants to add it.
It's because Fate has waifu, and people go, "Ooh, waifu good," and they forget that waifu make no sense.
They also forget that more waifu will ruin your laifu.
Yeah.
Fate needs like a proper handling with basically anything. Otherwise, it'll just go out of hand very quickly or just very poorly.
I'm gonna shill my co-author here. He did a PGO Fate crossover specifically because he likes Greek stuff.
All right, I dig it so far.
I'd be willing to read it.
It was Percy and the campers in the Olympus Lost Belt for.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Oh, they
It's
no.
actually
They-
it's less horrible than it sounds because the Greek gods go, okay, what is this strange organic fleshy thing that reads like it's actually part of us? You're not my arm. Why does the code say you're my arm? And so the Zeus actually meets Thalia, and he's like, you are part of me, but you are not part of me. Why are you part of me? And she's like, Dad, why are you speaking like a robot? But
I'll
the
give you
yeah,
props. That actually
hard-
sounds kind of interesting, at least interaction wise.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's
at least
gonna
get
be a
a
hard
couple.
sell,
Yeah.
though.
it's supposed to be less grim dark. He doesn't like stupid stuff being stupid.
It's a lost belt.
Well, not just that. It's a lost belt, and for some reason, the 100% mechanical pieces are reading fleshy bits as mechanical code for
He
some
actually
reason.
has a good explanation for that. The Divine Corpus Network, it's actually he decided that's where the PGO demigods have their powers from. So it's basically like an organic computer that's running the same software. And it's not a one-to-one translation for the gods. The gods recognize their children as their children. They've just never created organic demigods. They had their terminal bodies in the Lost Belt, but they never had truly organic demigods. And of course, because this is before Chaldea shows up, before the servants have started destroying things, the gods are not in combat mode. They're not like, okay, we have to kill everything now mode. And so it's more of a moment of, oh, this is strange, rather than I need to nuke this now. Not everyone has reacted similarly. Jason, in particular, like the actual Lost Belt Jason, is massively unhappy about this because he doesn't trust any of the people he's meeting. He doesn't like this. However, he's also hesitant to piss off Poseidon by killing Percy. So, ceasefire at the
Poseidon
moment.
has no brain.
Not.
In Fake Grand Order's Lost Belt, Poseidon basically got lobotomized.
I will actually
way before
drop a
the
link.
shit.
I will drop a link because I'm not good at this, explaining this, unfortunately, even though he's my co-author. Because he did this on his own. I wasn't part of this.
Yeah, I'm just saying because
even still,
lore-wise, the gods in the Lost Belt literally had a civil war, and
Yeah,
most of the
and
pantheon got
December.
torn apart with Poseidon
apparently-
basically being lobotomized. He has no straight consciousness. He has no
Mm.
sentience, really. He's just a pack
Wyvern,
dog.
yeah, Wyvern did the research for the lore and timing and stuff to make it work. I don't understand it. As I've been before, I don't get Fate.
I mean, the bigger issue is I'm pretty sure that the Lost Belt Greek pantheon is not the same as the actual Greek pantheon, and that they're not supposed to be mechanical in the first place. They
Subordinated.
showed up, killed the gods or something, and
The Greek gods in the Lost Belt are alien machine deities. They're visitors. There were no native Greek gods. You had some like the Gorgons, but they weren't actually quote unquote Greek gods.
So his premise falls apart just from that alone.
Fate, the general lore from at least if the Lost Belt lore kind of invokes is that ancient history, they arrived, they were there. Sephar or whatever front that we learn about in Extella arrives, basically starts the end of the Age of the Gods throughout basically ancient history and all the fates. They get their bodies destroyed. They basically become what we refer to as standard divine spirits, and that's kind of when they started having. I think they had like Jays, like all the demigods and shit started coming around, but they were basically standard spirits by that point. The Lost Belt, they were straight up still machines. They never fell.
You would unironically understand that better than me. All as I
Fair enough.
understand it is that he did the research and he proposed in-universe explanations that people apparently agree are reasonable enough. My understanding is that he did a story and he's my co-author and he writes good.
Fair enough.
But fate can be handled if you're doing a crossover. And that's my point. But you have to sit down, you have to cut and measure, you have to be aware of what you're getting into, and you don't want to just tag it on. If you're dealing with it, it has to be something you are very sure about going into and very sure about how it fits into the rest of the world. Because it's so big. It was I posted in the Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9000 channel for anyone interested in it. It is generally disruptive to the rest of a story.
Okay.
You say, "Oh, servants exist. Oh, dead ancestor apostles exist," because those things don't exist in a vacuum. If servants exist, that means the throne exists, which means Alaya exists.
Right.
Alaya exists, Gaia also probably exists. And that means the tension between the human order and Gaia's order also exists. So even a small sliver of fate stuff that you're including packs on so much else that you have to be very, very careful. I personally advise against including fate stuff unless you are very specifically sure about it. But I'm also something of a coward in that regard. I'm always hesitant to include anime, and I'm always hesitant to include mixing that east-west divide. I don't know about anyone else here who's an author. Obviously, everyone has their own takes, but I feel that the general tone of Eastern and Western stories always need bridging, and that you can get bogged down in the bridging a lot of the time.
Let's see, is there any other good shit in here we can look at, or should we just go to a new section? Professor
Scott, yes, new
Tosaka
section.
teaches at Beacon Academy. Ah, yes.
Well, I will volunteer What Was Created by God. That's Wyvern's story. If you want to take a peek at that.
Yeah, fine, sure. We can take a.
It's the SB link. But I'm not too opposed to being told to just shut up and fuck off for the night if I'm overstepping any boundaries here.
No, we're just kind of wandering, meandering.
There's nothing else we're doing, so.
What was
Shut
created?
up, anyway.
Fuck off, sign. What was created by God? A Percy Jackson Fate Grand Order crossover. It's got roughly 1,600 watchers. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. One moment, Percy was fighting monsters inside a volcano. The next, he finds himself washing ashore of an island in the middle of nowhere. Where is he? How did he get here? And more importantly, why are his powers not working properly? Oh, also, why is everything made of metal and trying to kill him? That one's important too. Okay, so first off, I will give you credit where it's due. That is a very Percy summary.
Thank you. I'll let him know.
Let's see what we got here for the first chapter. Percy woke up with a killer headache, like someone decided he owed them money and that bashing him with a golf club was a valid way to get back. Actually, scratch that, it wasn't just his head. Everything hurt. Did someone get the number of that volcano? Shaking the last dregs of unconsciousness, Percy winced as he tried sitting down, fingers digging into the coarse sand as salty waves slapped against his feet. A small semblance of energy returning to him as the contact with the water, though it didn't help with the pain. What happened? He tried to remember. They were in a labyrinth, that much Percy recalled. They were there because of a ton of evil folks. More like bad guys, but quabble over the word. Another heap of misled folks wanted to use... He's using folks a lot. Percy's northeastern. We don't...
Percy is southern now. Max, you can claim him as one of yours.
He learns new words from time to time. Don't worry.
I wanted to use him to find a way into the summer camp and raise it to the ground. You know, fun stuff. He and Annabeth had to go on another errand for another god as part of that quest. You know, basic demigod stuff you gotta do. Do you feel like spinning the wheel and see what the god in question was feeling like punishing you for it? Percy, knowing his luck, obviously accepted. Okay, so maybe staying behind the deal with the Telekines had not been his brightest moment, and maybe using his powers inside an active volcano wasn't that much better either. But you couldn't blame him for thinking that it might work. The explosion was totally an accident, and Percy hoped Hephaestus didn't care too much about the Lost Forge. You never knew with gods.
Don't.
I think the god known for forging might be a little upset about that, because that was likely...
He might just be a tad salty.
Might have been his summer home he just destroyed.
Well, that forge is definitely salty.
That was my third favorite forge.
Long story short, there was an explosion, and Percy sort of felt like he may have died, but not really. He certainly felt like death had warmed over, but decided to just kick the stuffing out of him rather than take him kicking and screaming to the underworld. Percy wasn't looking forward to seeing his estranged uncle again. If he died, he was pretty sure Annabeth would have found a way to kill him for it. Well, that or kiss him for not dying after all. Okay, stashing that one for later. Getting back to camp first. What should be easy, right? Son of Poseidon, navigation powers, he could just jump into the sea and swim back if push came to shove. So, as long as there wasn't any more giant sea monsters on the way, there was just one teeny tiny problem. Where the Hades am I? Atlantic Ocean, his powers answered. Well, that gave him a bunch of numbers and coordinates, but Percy wasn't going to bother with the details. But where in the Atlantic Ocean? Atlantic Ocean. Okay. His powers were broken. Great. Maybe that explosion knocked something loose after all. So
You're in the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, but where? The Atlantic Ocean.
No, see, the problem here is what the author is not properly expressing, because unfortunately Percy is an unreliable narrator, is that it's giving him his precise location in the Atlantic Ocean with the latitude and longitude grid coordinates.
Right.
And he is dismissing it outright because he never learned what latitude and longitude was.
He was a bit simple at times.
And so instead of just getting a feeling of knowing where he is, he's getting all of the precise information instead, which he doesn't like, because he just likes feeling things.
Because he's a moron, a simpleton.
Yes. Yeah, yes. Percy Jackson is not the smartest around.
I would honestly say, because Wyvern and I have spoken about this, he's not dumb. He's lazy. He's gotten used to Annabeth in particular telling him what the intellectual solution is. It's kind of like the Hermione problem. The character isn't stupid or incompetent. They've just gone with their gut so much, and it's worked for them, that they never learn not to, and they always have someone around to tell them the right answer when they need it.
True.
That's
True.
fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fair explanation. That's not fair on the character. That's a fucking stupid mistake on their part.
Major flaw. But please continue if you want to.
Yes. Alright, gotta Scooby-Doo this one the normal way then. Probably not gonna end well. Look, Percy wasn't much of a critical thinker. He was someone who learnt by doing, and no demigod worth their salt would consider staying put for more than 5 minutes. It's just how they were wired. Patience gave way to action more often than not, and unfortunately, Percy didn't have a cell phone. He pat his pockets. No drachmas either. Guess no iris messages either. He was somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, and it wasn't his first time stuck on an island. First time where he didn't have a pirate ship conveniently stashed away so he could sail away, but he was more experienced now. Surely it would be easier. That's a nice picture.
Yeah, Wyvern's probably his greatest talent, in my opinion, is formatting. He's also really good with things like Photoshop. I'm crap at those things, in case you wondered.
Oh yeah, I'm a master of Photoshop, as you can tell by our expertly crafted banners and bars.
Don't look upon it. It will stare back into your soul.
That 6 will absolutely stare back into you.
It's eye-catching. It's unique.
It is.
If by that you mean you destroy.
Stabbing.
It's hellish.
It will absolutely devour your brain.
It's like something out of Lovecraft.
It wasn't. Percy didn't recognize the island
that
he was
stared
at.
back.
Indeed. Though that was a faint hope. He had at least expected to find some kind of signal that people were there, but there was no docks or boats no matter where he looked. Only long strips of white sand framed by clear blue waters and the light sun as it crested over the horizon in the early morning. Breathtakingly beautiful, yeah. Utterly useless in helping him get back, yup. There weren't any trails or paths leading to or from the beach. Percy must have walked around about half an hour trying to figure anything resembling civilization, but had to stop once his legs started complaining, as well as the rest of his body. Seriously, it never took him that long to recover from something like this. Normally a dip in the water was all he needed to heal, but he was still sore for some reason. Now you might be thinking, aren't you being a bit too cautious, Percy? Thinking ahead is very much unlike you, seaweed brain. Maybe you should just uncap that sword of yours and jump into the weird jungle, Jackson. And normally you would be right. He would have gotten bored and wandered into that jungle by now, if he hadn't found something. Well, it was something. It was like a metal fin sticking out of the sand. Percy had run into it while heading the opposite way from where he started. It was like a piece of the most expensive yacht in the world had broken off and washed ashore. It was as tall as a house and twice as wide, with strange lines running on its side. Nothing that Percy could read, unfortunately. Trying to dig it out didn't really reveal anything either. It was just a giant piece of metal on the beach. The only thing he could confirm was that it was made out of celestial bronze, and that the island was not really an island. Shocker, right? He had been digging a fire pit to prepare food when the beach decided it had just run out of sand. Sleek bronze metal peeking from underneath the dirt. The same as that hunk of junk Percy had been using as his umbrella. In fact, that hunk of junk was an even bigger hunk of junk than he expected. Please don't be another scrapyard. Touching it didn't make giant robots pop out of the sand. Percy already checked that. And digging in different spots revealed the same mass of celestial bronze underneath the beach. That was as far as his investigation went before a hungry stomach forced him to hunker down under the shade of the metal fin. Some foraging later, and Percy was now the proud owner of a ruined shack in the middle of nowhere, complete with fireplace and fish on a stick. It isn't much, but it's not death by sun and hunger. As it turns out, unseasoned fish fillets, carved with a legendary weapon, tasted about the same as unsalted fish fillets carved with a kitchen knife. Percy considered throwing a quick prayer Hera's way. She helped their group once, so maybe she would do so again if he asked really nicely. He was craving some of that godly all-you-can-eat buffet of hers. Hera? What you mean? What's her face?
You might have misspelled Hestia.
Hestia, yeah. You might want to inform him of that one.
Oh well.
Seaweed brain, think. You have a brain, you can use it. So we got tossed out of the labyrinth into some random island in the middle of nowhere, probably got blown up by a volcano, went through another entrance, which didn't make much sense since he woke up in the middle of the beach, but then again, he couldn't drown and he didn't know how much time he was asleep for. For all Percy knew, he'd been drifting the sea for hours, which meant he was lost. If he drifted away from the entrance when he fell out of it, that just meant Percy had to try and find an entrance to go back. Simple? Yep. Easy? No. He couldn't even check the hours. Stupid Camp and her stupid chasing them around. Percy would definitely have to make it up to Tyson for losing his shield. He missed the wristwatch, though. Having to wait was going to suck without him. Anything letting him know how much time he was wasting sitting on his butt. The hell is this? What are you linking? Hestia? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, apparently, Hera did give Percy and company a buffet in the labyrinth.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, it's
She
from the
hates
book.
him.
It might be a quest thing. Also, cute Hestia.
Hestia is bestia.
Imagine how much more together Hestia's children would be if Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls Hestia was their mother. Like, in the PJO universe.
Are you fucking high?
She at least cares as a parent.
Bro, Hestia don't have kids.
She
So
has
what's the virgin
one,
goddess?
doesn't she?
She's a virgin goddess.
Oh, please,
yes.
that doesn't stop.
Virgin-
So
Virgin
is,
mother goddesses.
Yeah, she's the only virgin goddess that
gross.
actually stuck to the whole virgin part of the goddess.
Not in Greek lore.
Well, in PJO lore.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, Artemis went and adopted a bunch of daughters, and Athena decided that she would just make brain babies instead. Hestia is the only one that actually didn't have any kids.
And that's specifically because it starts a war, if she does. Because Poseidon and Zeus got violent over who got to marry her. And Hades even threw his hat in the ring. And so she just said, okay, I'm a virgin goddess now. Please don't start a war.
That's a shame.
She's the firstborn of Cronus, if I remember correctly. The eldest child, while Hades is the eldest son. Zeus is actually the youngest son and has least claim to rule, which is why he wanted to marry Hestia, because she was firstborn and had greatest claim.
And
She's
of course, because this is Greek, marrying your sister is perfectly fine.
Also,
Yeah.
And both in and out of PJO, Hestia is like one of the most powerful fucking goddesses.
Well, because she has control of the things that are most important to humanity.
Yeah,
Food and sex?
hearth and home, and food and sex. Yeah. Having a family, having food, and having shelter is her domains. So, yeah, a little bit important. A little bit of that narrative pop to her step.
We only care about all of those all the time.
Oh, yes. Totally not important.
Blah 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 blah. He and Tyson hadn't gotten to spend much time together, and Percy had acted like a douchebag to his friend turned brother, jealous that his father now had someone else to give attention to. Never mind the fact that Percy himself at least had his mother, while Tyson was just left behind. I'll definitely have to buy him something nice. Looking up at the large metal fin, Percy chuckled. Maybe he could bring it with him as a souvenir. Tyson would definitely like working with all that celestial bronze. The idea of being covered head to toe in trinkets made by his friend, like some sort of rich celebrity, was silly, but it kept his thoughts from wandering. Maybe help was already in the way. On the way. Don't you mean?
Yeah. I have to blame him about prepositions. In and on are the two that mess him up the most.
I mean, I and O are right there beside each other.
Yep. No.
You can always remember "Help Is on the Way" by remembering the best song. "Help Is on the Way."
Oh man.
The possibly only thing Chicago ever created that was good.
Anyways, like I said, Wyvern really busted his butt on the lore here, and I understand that it does work. Apparently, I don't necessarily understand how or why, and I probably explained it poorly. The TLDR of the story, at least the beginning, is Percy runs into Servant Odysseus after getting his butt kicked by a Robo Chimera.
Yeah,
That is
I've
Percy.
been jumping through this first chapter and a bit of the second.
Gotcha.
I'm noticing people commenting, wait, that shouldn't work. Why is that working? They're not really accepting it. They're just waiting for him to explain why he has access that he, due to the workings of this lost belt, should not have access to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a MacGuffin he needs to have this access that he has not gained yet.
He is the MacGuffin. He has root access.
Unfortunately, this lost belt would disagree.
Mm-hmm. And see, honestly, this is why I don't really enjoy having characters cross over into Fate too much, but I enjoy having Fate stuff cross over in other universes.
I mean, there's a really easy fix for my one complaint, which is have him get the MacGuffin. However you have to hand wave it.
Yeah.
He just needs the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin being a set of nanites
If
injected
I
into his
remember
body.
correctly, part of Poseidon stowed away with Percy in a sand dollar. I don't remember everything entirely. And later on, Percy does break the sand dollar, and that's kind of like the last message from what was left of his dad, because PGO Poseidon was almost completely and totally subsumed into the machine god, which I'm trying to remember now because it's been a while since he's updated. Which I think that actually starts to reactivate part of the lobotomized systems of Poseidon.
Wait, hang on. You just said he was subsuming the original
Yeah,
Poseidon?
you just threw a lot
No,
of whole fucking
PGO
words in
Poseidon.
there.
No, Machine Gun Poseidon is more powerful than PGO Poseidon in the Lost Belt, so PGO Poseidon ends up being overwritten by Lost Belt Poseidon.
No, okay, so that's the part you're confusing me. Why is PJO Poseidon there? He should not be there.
No, like the body, the machines, the physical servers and computers and shit. You know, the
Yes,
giant
but
corpse of Cronus with the cores on it and
What
crap.
does that have to do with PJO Poseidon being assimilated into Lost Belt Poseidon is what Aura's asking.
he should not be a thing though.
You mentioned a sand dollar. Did PGO Poseidon put like the last of his will in a small trinket for his son?
Yeah, something like that. And that's what's actually letting Percy function. Like I said, he understands fate much better than me, and later on,
I kind of questioned that just from
I understand
looking over
PJO more than
myself.
him, clearly, because that's fucking a whole load of horseshit.
then
Yeah,
I
like
probably
I'd say I'd have a decent grasp of a lot of the, at least FGO's relatively recent lore and shit, and I'm still confused as to how that works because there should be no echo, let alone anything of PGO Poseidon influencing the mecha version. They're completely separate entities.
I don't think they are in the story. I think the PGO gods
Yeah,
are.
see, that's the sort of shit that I really don't like about Fate Crosses, is when they're like, oh, we're gonna take these completely separate systems and then mash them together, completely ignore all of the incompatibilities, and then, this is how the plot's gonna roll out. It's like, okay,
I
fuck.
read one Ryugi did one similar to this, I guess, where Percy was summoned as like as a servant to defeat the Lost Belt and what have you, and it was a whole mess of its own where he tied in a lot of the mecha stuff as like they followed the same history, I guess. But I thought that was a mess, and I don't really remember. But that already sounds like a clusterfuck of a mix that doesn't really make sense. If this Percy Jackson, they share the same history, and this Mecha Poseidon was the original was the same Poseidon that would have become Percy's father. How could he leave a sand? I'm just getting a headache now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like I said,
it's
I'm
8:16. How's about we just
very
wrap this up?
poorly.
Oh, hold on.
but
Let's
that's
do
my
one
view.
Harry
Oh.
Potter story in
No,
honor of
let's not.
No. Blood feud. Harry foils an assassination plot and retaliates using the pure blood laws against the purebloods. Harry is massively gay with Draco, but this has no bearing on the story.
You what might?
That should have some bearing on the story.
You want to try that again?
No. I'd rather they didn't.
Seconded.
And you know what? That's how we're gonna end. That's how we're gonna end out the night.
Harry being massively gay with Draco and then having zero plot relevance, despite
Yes.
probably picking up 80% of screen time.
Yes. So, yeah, that's how we're going to end the night, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you all for coming, and be sure to come back on Tuesday, because there's always more, and it always gets worse.